example, one of our gCADPlus users has asked the question, how does one create a second floating viewport? If we move to the landscape plan in this example and I drag a crossing window through here, you can see if I stretch this down, you can see there that this entity is labelled a viewport. So we have one floating viewport there. We have another in this zone through here. It's a second viewport. So how did we create that second viewport? Let's go back to the model for the moment. Let's imagine we wanted to include information about the design for the fountain that's to fit in the middle of the design. So we go to the landscape plan and let your mouse hover over the tab, right click and select add a viewport. So it's just a matter of drawing a box indicating a new viewport, and you can see we get a view into the true model there. I can double click it and use the handles on the edge and the handle in the middle to resize the view that we're going to see in that floating viewport such that it will sit in its own floating viewport. Having resized it, I'm going to say display it on the layout, and there we are. So we could then label that appropriately. So the design is here, the plant schedule there, and the viewport sits on the right. The reason that this one shows with a border around it is if we select a viewport, you can see the colour is by layer. If I wanted to remove that box around it, I would click here and move down to colour 255, which is white on the white background. So there's our floating viewport. We've probably got just enough room for the logo and site information here, and we've certainly some information up here for a couple of images showing species that are going to be used in the design. We don't have a scale bar in here yet, or indeed a north indicator. So there's a little more work to be done here, but that's how you create floating viewports. 3 or 4 floating viewports I think is ample. It can get a little tricky to select them when they overlap too much.